Welcome to Vsb News Online for Tuesday, May 26th. I'm Peter Cattell. Friday's call in Parliament by Premier Michael Dunkley and Opposition Leader Mark Bean for a peaceful, incident-free Bermuda Day weekend appears to have been heard and obeyed. Brian Darby has the details.
2 marine incidents and 2 road accidents were virtually all that the authorities had to put up with over the Bermuda Day weekend, and as a result the Bermuda Police Service is thanking the public for its cooperation and community spirit. The accidents took place on Monday, the first being a collision between a taxi and a motorcycle on South Road in Devonshire, near the junction with Bright Hill Road. The motorcycle rider, believed to be a 40-year-old Sands Parish man, and his pillion passenger, a 37-year-old Sands Parish woman, sustained non-life-threatening injuries. No other injuries were reported, however both vehicles were damaged. Inquiries are being conducted and any witness should call 292-0011. Then at 8 p.m. there was a single vehicle collision between a car and a utility pole on North Shore Road, Hamilton Parish, near the junction with Green Bay Road. The driver, a 30-year-old Hamilton Parish woman, and her female passenger were treated at the scene by EMTs for minor injuries, and the damaged car had to be towed away from the scene. Inquiries are being conducted by Constable Cletus Cyrus at 293-2222, and the 2 marine incidents involved calls for assistance from boats that had run out of power, and a tow had been arranged in both cases from passing pleasure craft. Brian Darby reporting for Vsb News.
The rare crime of car theft continues to haunt the community. At 4:30 this morning, a maroon-colored Hyundai Jeep, license number 41222, was taken from outside Pride's Cafe on Victoria Street and is being sought by the police. Any member of the public spotting this Jeep is asked to call 292-0011. Bermuda's new signature restaurant, Marcus's, opens its doors tomorrow at the Hamilton Princess and Beach Club. Charles Webb was there today for the announcement and filed this report.
Beginning tomorrow, diners at Marcus's will enjoy a handcrafted menu of grilled options from the wood-burning indoor barbecue pit, the first of its kind in Bermuda, as well as a raw menu and some eclectic dishes too numerous to mention. Local ingredients will be sourced where possible, including vegetables from Tom Watson's farm and fresh fish from local fishermen. The restaurant is replete with an eclectic personal art collection chosen by the owners. Marcus's signature cocktail is the Darkier and Stormier, which I suspect is a more lethal version of the well-known concoction. Hotel General Manager Alan Federer is excited about the new restaurant. Sirs Nils Noren, Vice President of Restaurant Operations for the Marcus Samuelson Group. But just one more thing, and I mean this in the nicest possible way, the restaurant, and indeed the hotel, has a bias.
Well, the bias of our ownership group is Bermuda first. And we want that ourselves. That's our own bias. The more that we can hire locally, the more that we can source products locally, the more that we can put a Bermuda imprint on the Hamilton Princess and Beach Club, the more distinctive we are. We don't want to be a cookie-cutter hotel. We want to be a hotel that shouts Bermuda. Marcus Samuelson is an international name. People follow him. He's known for his exceptionally talented and creative cuisine. I think it's just another thing that's going to make Bermuda a great destination.
Now, in your marketing, you're calling it the first celebrity restaurant. Will this be comfortable enough for your ordinary people to dine in?
You know, we believe in a big tent at the Hamilton Princess and Beach Club. Everybody is welcome. One of the things I've learned in the year working here is that we have many, many local patrons and guests. 1609 has shown that we welcome everybody all the time. And I think that with that in mind, we will have everyone in Bermuda at one time or another come and try the restaurant. That's a pleasure for us.
What's important for us in terms of the restaurant, we're fortunate enough to have a few restaurants in New York. We also have 19 restaurants in Scandinavia, Sweden and Norway mostly. But when we do restaurants, we don't just come in and say, hey, this is our template of restaurant, here's what I'm going to be. for us it's very important to be both in and of the community. So being part of Bermuda and having the pleasure of understanding and getting to know Bermuda a little better, that's also going to reflect in both the restaurant, as you see in the decor. We have found some really nice artifacts and Bermuda items to put in the restaurant, but also on the menu.
For Vsb News, I'm Charles Webb.
Clermont, the French toll ship, is sailing to Yorktown this evening after a one-day stopover on her way to a tour of North America. Curious locals viewed the vessel as it tied up at Pennos Wharf in St. George's, and late this afternoon, the governor, George Ferguson, made an official visit. The full-scale replica of the historic 32-gun 18th century warship that carried the Marquis de Lafayette back to General George Washington and the American Revolution in 1780, the Le Moyne is regarded as one of the most important and most forgotten ships in U.S. naval history. On board are 79 French and American crew. The ship is over 200 feet long with 16,000 square feet of sail. And we'll be back with more news right after this.
The Marketplace Food Court is you and your family's one-stop shop. Start your day at the Breakfast Bar with omelets made to order and traditional Bermuda codfish breakfast. The chefs will cook lunch and dinner to your liking. Along with the salad bar, sandwich bar, sushi bar, and fruit bar, the Marketplace Food Court is your kitchen away from home. Every day is hassle-free with nutritious meals from the Marketplace Food Court. Visit us 7 days a week. Homemade cooking, quality service, all at prices you can count on.
America's Cup author and promoter Jack Griffin is blown away by the challenging conditions that will face the America's Cup racing crews in the Great Sound when the competition gets underway.
And now even young Bermuda sailors should sort of look to this as an opportunity to see sailing at its best.
Oh, absolutely. This is, like the saying here is the best sailors on the fastest boats. And these boats are going to go well above the speed limit for cars in Bermuda, so they're pretty...
That's not hard.
No, I know that's not hard, but on a sailboat it's hard.
Right, okay.
On a sailboat it's hard. There aren't many people who sail sailboats who have gone at those kinds of speeds. And the Great Sound is going to be a very, very big challenge for these sailors because in San Francisco the conditions are wonderful, but they're pretty steady. The wind always blows from the west from 225 degrees more or less and shifts a little bit. Here it can change, come from all different points of the compass. There'll be, depending upon where the wind is coming from, the course will be laid out in different directions. In San Francisco, the racetrack was always in the same place, always the same direction, always the same distance. Here, that will be very different, and it will be a real big sailing challenge for these teams. It'll be very, very exciting racing.
Now, this will be 2017.
Right.
Any chance of it being repeated?
There's always a chance, but first of all, the winner decides where the next one will be. Right. So first of all, Oracle would have to win again and then decide to stay here. I think you should look at it more like, think of the Olympics. The Olympics comes back to cities from time to time, but you don't have 2 or 3 Olympics in a row in the same place. So think of it more like the Olympics, and this is the opportunity to, get on the map as the site of a wonderful sporting festival celebration, and build on that, and then build a legacy after that.
1 month after the Nepal earthquake devastated that part of the world, the Bermuda charity Adara has been able to report that its disaster appeal for the people of Nepal has already raised $414,000, with more donations coming in daily from all over the world. Adara operates medical centers in Nepal and Uganda and is well placed to help the hundreds of thousands of citizens who have lost their homes. Former Turks and Caicos Premier Michael Mizik, who is said to have improperly diverted $180 million of public funds during his time in office, and his former Minister of Lands, McAllister Hanschel, issued a statement over the weekend in response to the Privy Council's rejection of their appeal, claiming that there was a race-based system of justice in the TCI. Mizik and Hanschel said there was no way that they could get a fair trial in the circumstances, despite the fact that a number of Mizik's co-defendants have been exonerated on similar terms as the white developers. Visit claimed in the statement to have been the victim of a political witch hunt orchestrated against black islanders by the British establishment. The Bermuda Chamber of Commerce has received a TripAdvisor Certificate of Excellence Award for its signature event, Harbor Nights. The award, now in its 5th year, celebrates excellence in hospitality and goes to establishments that consistently achieve great traveler reviews on TripAdvisor. Certificate of Excellence winners include accommodations, eateries, and attractions located all over the world that have continually delivered a superior customer experience. Chamber Executive Director Kendary Burgess said the Chamber was thrilled to win the award for Harbor Nights and wanted to thank the sponsors, Front Street retailers, and vendors for their unstinting support. And now, for the latest from the sports desk, we turn to Earl Baisden.
The Bermuda National Athletics Association President Donna Watson announced a sponsorship partnership for the upcoming National Track and Field Championships.
The Bermuda National Athletics Association is proud to announce its partnership with Axel Catlin, who are sponsoring the Axel Catlin Bermuda National Athletics Championships. This event will take place June 12th and 13th at the National Sports Center. We will be bringing in some international athletes thanks to Axel Catlin.
Patrick Tennant of Axel Catlin laid down the philosophy of Axel Catlin's principles and why they are involved.
Now that we are Axel Catlin, we will continue to drive positive change and lead by example. We believe that there is a direct correlation between the characteristics that are required for success in athletics and those characteristics that are required for success in life. Both require dedication, determination, and discipline, and not to say anything about the importance of hard work, self-belief, and perseverance. We also believe that the Bermuda National Athletic Association's important role in helping to develop some of Bermuda's most talented athletes epitomizes the values of Axel Catlin, or as we call them internally, our commitments.
There's a growing concern around the America's Cup and people obeying the rules and the laws on the water for sailing. After witnessing the behavior of spectator boats following the fitted dinghy racing in the St. George's Harbor on Sunday, we asked a few sailors their opinion on what they saw. Not wanting to be named, most of it was concerning, as boats can visibly be seen crossing in front of sailboats and sometimes motoring alongside the sailboats. It was only a few weeks ago that a press release was issued regarding the America's Cup, which stated in part, "Do not get too close, stay at least 100 yards away from the AC-45s. If you're in a relatively slow boat, under 10 knots, you will not be able to get out of the way. If any AC-45s are approaching you, simply hold your course and speed. The AC-45 will avoid you. Do not try to alter course or speed to avoid it." It also went on to say, if you are in a faster motorboat, never attempt to cross in front of the AC-45, stay behind and keep at a distance. Do not approach within 100 yards. If you are making less than 10 knots of speed as the AC-45s approach you, hold your course and speed. The AC-45 will avoid you. Do not try to alter your course or speed to avoid them. As always, comply with the nautical rules of the road at all times when at sea. With a few clubs taking part in the dinghy racing also connected in some way with the America's Cup, the opportunity to implement some of the safety rules was missed at the first attempt. The president of the Bermuda Football Association, Larry Musselin, during the roof wetting ceremony for the Clyde Best Center of Excellence, announced that a relationship with Mexico and others is about to reemerge.
Historically, Bermuda, Canada, the United States, Mexico, and Bahamas were in the North American Football Union. We're starting that back up again, and we're looking to have some really good development relationships with the United States Soccer Federation and with Mexico. Mexico have reached out to us and said, how can we help you, Bermuda? And so we said we'd like to have a preparation game, and they said, well, let's do it. So they really rolled out the carpet for us. We're really pleased about that, even though it was their Olympic team. But we saw that Coach Bascom, he was trying out all of the people that traveled on the tour, and so we're looking forward to having a sustained relationship with Mexico. And at some point, we would like to see some Mexico teams come here. Their president who's Hostino. He's a good friend of mine and a good friend of Bermuda Football Association. So we're really pleased that he's been able to help us out at this stage.
We also asked President Musselin, why now are we planning to revive the North American Football Union?
Recently, CONCACAF has encouraged the North American Football Union to re-establish itself and start to do some things. So we're next week in Zurich, we're going to have some more discussions about that. So we're pleased about that. It'll be a positive development for Bermuda and Bahamas to be in a group of 5 countries with Canada, Mexico, and the United States, even though we will still qualify through the Caribbean Football Union so that we will still have group rounds with other Caribbean countries. But from an administrative point of view, within CONCACAF, we will operate as a North American Football Union, which for short would be NAFU.
Bermuda's Para-Olympian Jessica Lewis won the Chelsea Clark Award during the Cruise Sports 8th Annual Awards Gala. Clark was a fellow T34 Canadian team member and world record holder. She passed away in 2014, with Lewis becoming the first recipient of the award. Lewis is now on her way to Switzerland for the Swiss Series track meets. She is quoted as saying, "I had a great time, received the Chelsea Clark Award for track," end quote. Meanwhile, Cheyenne Smith, representing Lee Montpelier Athletic Club, performed 2 season bests over the weekend. She had a season best 59.74 during the women's 400 meters. She finished second in the shot put with a top toss of 11.48. A First Division match, 2020 matches, and Bermudian cricketers competing overseas took center stage this past weekend, and we now take a look at the top performers. In the batting department, Dalray Rollins, playing for Eastbourne Cricket Club, had the best weekend with the bat, scoring 100 in his first appearance for the club. Tamiko Wilson scored 65 not out, playing against PHC for Western Stars. His teammate, Mackay Young, scored 64 runs in the same game. Ryan Steed from the St. George's Cricket Club returned the best figures of the weekend with the ball. He had 5 overs, 1 maiden, 4 for 9. With figures of 4 overs, 4 for 20, saw Swain Campbell, representing Western Stars, record the second best figures of the weekend. Vernon Eve from Southampton Rangers had the third best figures of the weekend. He bowled 4 overs. He took 4 for 23. I'm Earl Basden reporting for VSB Sports.
Looking at the weather for Wednesday, May 27th, there will be sunny periods, a few showers mainly in the afternoon and evening. Winds will be northeasterly, moderate to strong, decreasing east-northeasterly moderate during the morning, increasing moderate to strong at times during the day, veering easterly overnight. We are expecting a high near 76 Fahrenheit and a low near 69 Fahrenheit. This weather forecast is the courtesy of the Bermuda Weather Service. Thanks for watching VSB News Online for Tuesday, May 26th. I'm Peter Cattell.